guilty of crime.
What's up, everybody? We're doing this show today. Sorry about the last one. I feel like there were more people here waiting, and I still cannot wait to cover the devil in the house, or the devil, whatever, Ruby Frankie downfall. But right now, you guys, the much anticipated Dateline NBC Keith Morrison's Jailhouse interview with Lori Vallow-Daybell, which she likes to be called, you guys. Oh my God, I gotta tell you, I'll say hi, and then I gotta tell you, after this, we are going to react to a new video that just came out, new audio from Plunder, and it's gonna be a good one, guys. It's talking about Jennifer Soto not doing much with Stefan Stearns, yet she sends her daughter to bed with Stefan, and she doesn't give him sex or any of that. So that one's going to be crazy. And I forgot to give a shirt away last night, so we're going to do that after this episode. We're going to roll over and do that. So do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and get a membership if you can. All right. I am Jay with Guilty of Crime, and let's talk about Lori Vallow. I'm a bit disappointed, Jam. I don't think that you need to worry that you missed it, because I gotta tell you, what's up, Eilish, Date Avalon. Carly and I put a lot of work into getting me to be able to watch it last night. I couldn't find it because I went to dinner with my daughter, and it was live, but then by the time I got home it wasn't. So Carly helped the sister out, and I watched it. And guys, if there are people, ladies in chat, anybody in chat that watched it, feel free to say, put a 2 in chat if you watched it. If you didn't, you don't even need to waste your time, because you're going to be here today, and I'm going to show you all of the clips that were shown. I was a bit disappointed. The hype was real. Okay, I spent like an hour trying to find it. Yeah, Carly, I know you watched it. Carly and I watched it at the same time. She was actually, this is how down Carly is as a friend. She was going to put her phone on and let me watch it through the through FaceTime. So she was going to FaceTime it and just put it on the TV so I can watch it. That's a friend, guys. That's a friend. So thank you, Carly. I ended up doing it. Okay, you guys watched it. You guys, I'm glad you guys got to watch it. We're going to break it down for you. And I don't think that you missed much, because every single clip that they showed was pretty much in the teaser clips. Every time they went and panned to Lori, she didn't say anything. She started talking about just the weirdest shit, you guys. Garth Wong, welcome. Love your channel. Thanks for catching a live, my person. All right. So good. I'm glad, Elmo. I'm glad you're hearing it, because you know what? You get to hang out with me and the mods and the crew. I thought I would see more of Lori talking. Exactly. Every time they panned into Lori talking, it stopped. They just like panned out, and Keith Morrison started talking. Poor Keith Morrison. Yes, I did feel bad for him. We're going to do that today. I'm going to show you how bad he felt about it. The interview after is like, man, I don't think I'll ever do this again. And then he talks himself back into it, guys. So, All right, I'm going to show you a clip with no volume. This is essentially what the entire show was, and then we're going to get into the actual clips where they show her. This is all they showed of her. So if you watch this episode, I don't think you need to watch anything else, because I mean, I'm pretty disappointed by it. I took a couple of videos from my phone. I literally just took my phone and videoed it with no volume because you can't show that. I just want to kind of show you what went down. This is the majority of it, and then we're going to get into the reviews, what Keith said, what Colby had to say. All right, so take a look at this. There's no volume. I was watching it on my computer because I couldn't watch it anywhere else. So Carly hooked the sister up. Again, that's a true friend right there. A friend that will let you watch a movie through their phone on FaceTime the whole time. Those are the people you want to keep around, all right? Just saying. All right, watch this clip for a second. It's nothing. It's just her chit-chatting about nothing, and this was most of everything she said. I'm going to turn the volume off because there's no reason to have volume and I don't want to get kicked off. So I kind of just zoomed in, zoomed out. Most of the time they showed this. This is literally what they showed. What's up, my twin, Sharon? Keith would ask her, hey, did you and Chad get married? And when you got married, did you buy the rings 2 weeks before Tammy was dead? Oh, no, I didn't buy the rings before that. Those were for Zulema. I froze up, I know. But this is, I mean, you're getting, right now, Keith is struggling to not only keep a straight face, but to do this. Yeah, Colby, I have that too. Colby's going to do a recap, but he's going to come from a perspective of as a son. So that was like nothing. And he's going to get the same thing as me because that's what it was the whole time, guys. The whole time was just that. And everything that you saw was just them talking and then him talking over her. So I'm going to start with the very first and best one. We're going to go to Court TV to recap the case and we'll talk about it. And then I'm going to show you every clip that she was in, pretty much. Every clip she was in, that's what it was. So yeah, don't spend your money on going to buy a television channel to watch it, you guys. I was gonna buy like Xfinity and pay $40 and I didn't. Yeah, Colby is a very good looking young man, but he had that weird ponytail and I was like, and yeah, that's my biggest feel right there is the ponytail. All right, you guys, hit the like button, subscribe. We are a fan-funded channel. I know there's only 65 people in chat. I'm surprised on a Saturday. We're on a Saturday, but after this, we're going to go into the Madeline Soto case. So hopefully more people pick up on the algorithm. All right, so let's start with this because this is what the whole episode was about. It was talking about everything that happened, and then they would chime into Lori. She'd say something really weird. Keith Morrison would laugh or chuckle, and it would be uncomfortable.
Gotcha. How long have you guys lived here?
Sorry?
How long have you lived here?
Like 3 weeks.
Oh, geez. Yeah, okay.
That's why the neighbors don't know.
Hi, neighbor.
Gotcha.
Like, hi, neighbor, sorry.
Now for what's tipping the scales in the case against cult mom, Lori Vallow-Daybell. Guess what? She has sat down with NBC.
Yeah, this is gonna tell you almost everything she said, and then I'll go clip for clip because the people that were in it are going to be the ones that you get a little bit of talking from, but nothing. It was really them telling the story all over again. And as you know, she's going to represent herself. I have a feeling that they might try to make her a plea deal, you guys. I have a feeling they're going to try to give her a plea, and I'm not so sure that she's not going to take it. Colby does have a dork knob. Yeah, he does. That was funny. We saw Colby and Carly's like, Colby's hot, but that ponytail was not. Yeah, he's in the middle stages, all right? Don't mess with poor Colby. I've always thought he was really good looking. All right, listen up. We're going to catch up with the story.
Dateline's Keith Morrison for her first one-on-one interview. Lori speaking out about her innocence while currently standing trial for her ex-husband's murder. Here's a preview.
She's delusional, guys.
How could you
fascinating stories.
possibly think that?
And I'm going to show you guys every single preview of every part of the show. As by the time we're done in an hour, you're going to see everything you needed to see in the show because that's all they ever do. And then he talks and they pan out. All right. All right, let's go. No, she's delusional. That's all. Just remember that. She's Delulu.
That Chad would be exonerated after what happened.
The same way I will be exonerated. We will both be exonerated in the future.
Because?
I have seen things in the future that Jesus showed me when I was in heaven.
Oh my God.
And we were not in jail. And we were not in prison. And they were still in the future.
Oh, my. So will this interview tip the scales of justice ahead of her trial? Remember, she's got a trial date of March 31st. And that is when they're going to start picking that jury. And remember, she's representing herself in that case. Let's bring in our guest analyst, South Carolina solicitor Kevin Brackett, on the program this morning.
Yeah, after this clip, I'm just catching you up with her. And then we're going to cut back. Keith Morrison, Keith Morrison, Colby, Keith Morrison, and Nate Eaton. So, yeah. Oh my God, she's just a nutball. They should have just filmed 90 minutes of her talking. They should have just let her freaking talk. I wish they would let her talk more because we would have been like in the Twilight Zone.
Oh, Kevin, what do you think? We got a pro se defendant here. It's a homicide case, as serious as it gets. As you know, she's already been convicted of doing 3 murders. And now she thinks it's a good idea to do a sit-down interview with Keith Morrison. Your reaction?
She looks like a bulldog.
What has she got to lose, Julie? I mean, she's doing life. So why not just go out with a bang? I'll say this, as a prosecutor, some of the most painful cases I've had to prosecute were against pro se defendants because they don't know the rules of evidence. They don't know the rules of procedure. They just stand up and do whatever they want. It's very frustrating as a prosecutor to see them doing things that you know they're not allowed to do. And really, there's not much that anybody can do about it. So
I gotta say, guys, she was very, very pretty, but she now looks like a bulldog. She's got those jowls, and then she's got these mean, like, lines. I don't even want to do that to my face because I don't want that to happen. So we got Bulldog, Lori Vallow, and I don't make fun of people's looks, but this woman murdered her children and buried them in this, what do we call them? Peter Griffin's backyard. It's disgusting. I can't even imagine hurting my own children, my dog, my nothing. So she really disgusts me, you guys. All right, let's go.
well, that's on the one hand. On the other hand, the best war stories I have are from pro se cases. So that hopefully is some comfort to the prosecutors. They're probably going to walk out of this trial with a bunch of war stories. If they have a strong case, it doesn't matter what she does. It's really not going to matter. Jurors will see her for what she is. I wonder if the judge is appointing a standby counsel, though, in case she really starts to go off the rails.
Yes.
You know, defendants can be removed from court by the judge if they start really misbehaving. The sanctity of the proceedings is paramount, and they can actually remove the defendant from the courtroom. But in a pro se case, that's pretty tough if there's nobody in there for them. So
now this is going to be a preview what happens in court. Everything else is going to have to do with the show. Yes, Clark, thank you for talking to Sadie's mama. If you're not feeling good, girlfriend, please go lay down. Yeah, she does look like she had a stroke around her mouth, but the brows are giving Chola vibes. Oh man, in a pet cemetery. Yeah, man, this is what we have to look forward to. I kind of hope she doesn't take a plea deal, but I do play a clip later of Charles Vallow's that side of the family, his sister. Right? Isn't it his sister's Kay? And Kay, this is real hurt to her. Lori's just playing around and messing with people's lives. It's messed up, guys.
I don't know whether there's standby counsel. That would be something I'd be concerned about if I was the prosecutor, just so that if that did happen, at least somebody's in the courtroom to make objections and look out.
There is standby counsel on her case, so we do know that. Fortunately, as you pointed out, Kevin, right? Boy, oh boy, she's something else. I mean, she really thinks she's equipped to try this case. I have a clip for you, Kevin, on one of her recent hearings where she talks about studying the law.
Can you just tell me a little bit why you want to represent yourself?
Yes, Your Honor, for the past 5 years that I've been incarcerated, I have taken it upon myself to study case law and criminal rules of procedure in the state of Idaho and Arizona, as well as federally. Prior to that, for the last 10 years, prior to my incarceration, I did study procedure in family law, and I have real trial experience. I have participated in 3 different full trials from beginning to end.
Oh, somebody give her a bar card, huh, Kevin?
Yeah.
She's ready to go, isn't she? What do you think?
A lot of lawyers spend 3 years in law school studying it, but I don't trust them to handle a murder case
Right.
straight out of law school. You're going to start with some DUIs and kind of work your way up from there. This isn't going to be a situation.
No, it's not. All right, let's get a little bit more into the documentary.
Sanctioning them essentially, and she's lucky. She's lucky. It's life. Do you think she's going to testify? Do you think we'll see her in this trial get up there?
She probably will, because she's already testified to Dateline in some respects, and I don't know whether the state will get a copy of that to cross-examine her with if she gave an accounting of what took place.
No, I don't think she's going to testify. You guys could mark my words. I've been following this case since the very beginning, years and years. I had to recheck what I've been taught to make certain of the evil doings. This case is interesting and devastating. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. We're not just talking about her interview because she lied about every single thing, right? Even, you know how they bought the rings and it was for their wedding. She blamed it on her brother and Zulema. She said that they borrowed the wedding rings to get married and then they gave it back. She also said that she hangs out with Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell, the one that they took her life. They hang out while she's in the jail cell. And Chad, she's been married to for 5 years, you guys. And he comes and visits her every night. Even though he separated himself from the trial and never looked at her or talked to her again, he visits her, you guys. And this is just it's sad. It's sad what they did. It's not funny at all.
Having every prior statement she's made, I think they're entitled to use that to question her and see whether there's any inconsistencies. But I don't see why she wouldn't testify. Mm-hmm. Of course, she'll probably be testifying throughout the entire trial through her questions and comments that she makes while she's standing up on cross-examination. So, maybe she feel like she got it all out through her questions, but who knows?
Right. Yeah, we know she loves to be the center of attention, that's for sure. And we're not forgetting about Charles Vallow, the victim on this case, a wonderful husband.
Yeah, so the other victims are her children and Tammy. So now we're going to start getting into the actual episode. I'm going to show you clips and then tell you what it's all about. So I start here with JJ, such a sweet little boy. Now, you guys, in the interview, it broke my heart. They showed him in his red pajamas on the couch. Those were the last pajamas he was seen in, you guys. And when they found him in the ground with duct tape all over his face from being smothered, he was wearing those same pajamas, you guys. So this is not a joke. People don't teleport. That little boy was suffocated and then buried. He might have even been alive when he was still buried, you guys, in those same little cute pajamas. That made me sick when I saw that. All right, here we go.
Sentenced to life in prison in Idaho for killing her children, Tylee and JJ, who used to live here in the valley.
So what I'm showing you is clip for clip, and then I'm talking to you about what happened. I found all the different clips mashed together. That's about as much screen time as she had in that 2-hour episode, you guys. It wasn't much at all. So you didn't miss a thing.
In Arizona, she's facing 2 conspiracy to commit murder charges, one out of Chandler in the death of her former husband, the other a shooting attempt in Gilbert at her niece's ex-husband, who ultimately wasn't injured. The trial in that Chandler case is set to start later this month, and it's been a long time coming. Lori Vallow has been locked up in the Estrella jail here in Maricopa County since late 2023 after her conviction in Idaho. Her husband, Chad Daybell, was also convicted in the Idaho case and sentenced to death. She will be representing herself here in Arizona at her upcoming trial. Here's part of that exclusive interview with Keith Morrison.
Chad was convicted.
again, clip for clip, guys, and I'll tell you what, Keith Morrison will actually tell you what he was thinking because he did an interview on like every single station. Now, she never brought that up. Anything that Keith Morrison brought up, she evaded, you guys. She evaded all the hard questions, and she said, "Oh, you're silly, Keith. You're so silly. I thought we were friends here. Why are you asking me these questions, you silly man?" She was actually flirting with him, and he says it. So, yeah, she actually said that they were both zombies, Nanaska. And thank you so much, Synth, my own mod, sending a guilty of crime membership to you folks. So, again, hit the like button, subscribe, get a membership, and gift memberships if you have the means. The next show is going to be off the chain, so you guys will probably wait till then. But
He's on death row now.
I understand that. Yeah.
But
They have some
how could
fascinating
you
stories.
possibly think that Chad would be exonerated
The
after
same
what
way-
happened?
The same way I will be exonerated. We will both be exonerated in the future.
Because
I have seen things in the future that Jesus showed me when I was in heaven, and we were not in jail, and we were not in prison, and they were still in the future from now.
And again, in this part of the interview, she talks about Jesus coming to visit her. Jesus comes and lives. She lives in an outer body experience and gets to have this outer body where she sees herself, and Jesus is her personal friend. You guys, this is the thing. These are the things that she's telling Keith Morrison, and he's trying to be serious, but the moment he gets serious, she starts either flirting or asking him weird questions. So, like I said, I have a bunch of clips of it, and it's all just her being a weirdo the entire time. I didn't even need the volume because when you see her, she's like really seriously talking about, oh yeah, look at this. Oh, yeah. You see her? I didn't even put volume because it didn't need it. She's so dead serious, and I can't show the episode. That's why I couldn't film it. But yeah, thank you, Patty Ward. I appreciate you so very much for the $2 super sticker. Synth, man, I wish I knew her dealer because, yeah, hashtag take your meds. I don't think she thinks anything's wrong with her. She really does think that she's going to walk out of the prison walls, and Chad's going to be there.
So let's take a legal deep dive. Defense attorney Hector Diaz joins us.
All right, so I'm going to play part of that because I want to talk about Keith. I want Keith to talk about it, not those people.
Certainly afterwards.
Thank you, Synth.
afterwards, I wanted to go have a nap for a while. It was an extremely contentious interview. She is a very aggressive person when she wants to be. It was combative. She can be very sarcastic. She can be very flirtatious. She is charismatic. She's a very difficult person to interview. She had her own agenda, and she wanted to tell a story. And I knew the story wasn't true. So I was trying to get her to answer the questions I had for her. And that was not easy. So it was a fascinating conversation. And
poor Keith. And he did like 7 other interviews on every single channel, and he's struggling. Not only has she aged, but yeah, you can see just how much Botox and things that she had. Her dealer Satan. Yeah, you guys got to remember we're laughing about it, but behind her eyes are really just evil. Thank you so much for putting on the CC with the videos you play. You're welcome, Diminished Capacity. I appreciate you. Appreciate all you. Big Girl for Life, Witness. Yeah, boy, oh boy. I love Keith. He probably aged 5 years doing that interview, you guys. All right, let's keep going. Poor guy.
We had a limited amount of time for it, so it at times was one that tried to hurry along.
Appreciate you.
But she had her own speed.
Okay, Hector, you just heard him describe her flirtatious, combative, charismatic. I mean, talk about a wide range of, characters in a way. Yeah. What do you make of all that?
I mean, she's trying to take a playbook,
yes, please.
From the Jodi Arias, case, I guess. This is really odd. And again, she has the right to do this. I'm sure that the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, if they weren't sitting somewhere off to the side, they're going to ask for, a transcript or subpoena a transcript of, the unedited copy, if they can get their hands on it, I'd like to listen to it. And it may come back up to impeach her later.
I'll add too that seeing her in these first few hearings representing herself, that same demeanor is really evident in the courtroom as well. You can hear she, sounds like she knows what she's talking about when it comes to law. She's really, really confident. And oftentimes she comes into the courtroom smiling, giggling. So it's demeanor we've seen before, but I'm really curious to see, the full interview here, what Dateline puts together.
And what they put together was really exactly what I'm going to show you. Not much.
Interview between Keith Morrison and Lori Vallow.
All right, next one, guys. I got the clips all queued up for you. Most of it, like I said, is just what that is. I don't think she gets more than like 10 minutes of time on there. So here's another one. Today did a really good one. I think they played almost all of the clips and they just kind of mashed them up. So let's go.
To kill her husband's previous wife. So now she's in jail, about to go on trial for the murder of her fourth husband in Arizona.
And that's where Dateline's Keith Morrison caught up with her for her first television interview. We're going to talk with Keith in just a moment. But first, a preview.
And again, each one of these clips that I picked for you guys have a different perspective, and they show different clips. And Keith Morrison really did interview with like 7 different local channels and Court TV, of course, Dateline. So poor guy, he looks like he aged a few years here. I like watching.
When someone like convicted killer Lori Vallow agrees to an interview, there's no way around it. You wonder.
Hello, come on in.
Is giving attention to someone so notorious who loves the limelight so much a good thing? After all,
you're the most hated mom in America.
I heard that. And we all know what the media does. And they exaggerate everything and they make stuff up and they twist things around. So I don't know how it became what it is today. It's amazing to me. And I don't really know.
Are you misunderstood?
Absolutely.
That's so funny. Thank you, T. Adams, for the 5 guilty of crime memberships. She's misunderstood because she's cuckoo, and I can't tell if she's pretending to be that way or she really truly believes that she's in her cell and she has outer body experiences. She deflects every answer. You can ask her if her jumpsuit is orange, and she's going to tell you that it's blue because Jesus came down upon her and told her that orange is now blue. That's what she'll tell you. So that's the theme of this.
How do you know a person if you never talked to them in 5 years? How do you know anything about them? How do you know anything about their life? About how it really is?
5 years is how long Lori Vallow's life has been behind bars.
Yes.
She burst into the spotlight in early 2020 when the world learned that her 2 children, 16-year-old Tylee and 7-year-old JJ, had disappeared. Well, she lolled around in the sun in Hawaii.
Hey, Chad and Lori, it's Dateline. How are you?
With her newly married 5th husband, Chad Daybell.
There's a lot of people who are worried about your kids.
Now, we can't play the full episode. I would love to, but the full episode is on Dateline. I'll get kicked off if I do that. I'm playing all the clips that Lori Vallow's in. The rest of it's them telling the story of the children and what happened. Yeah, orange definitely is the new black, but she wouldn't say that. She'd say God came down and told her something else. That's how bad it is. What's up, Kim Watts? How are you doing? Crazy lady.
It was months after Dateline caught up with them when the bodies of the 2 children were found buried in Chad's backyard. Investigators learned it was all part of a bizarre religious group led by Chad. The violence perpetrated, police say, by Lori's brother and so-called angel of death, Alex Cox. Lori is doing life in prison now. Chad is on death row. But questions remain about how the children were killed and who did what. Lori promised to tell us the truth. Would she?
Were you there the night that Tylee died? Were you there the night that JJ died?
Was where?
Alex in these places when they...
So this is what she does every question. Every question that he asks, she asks him a question, and then she thinks about what she needs to say, even though she's been convicted, and it doesn't matter what she says. And yes, welcome, you guys, whoever got a membership. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. You guys won't be sorry that you got one. There's a lot of good content that's members only coming up. And yeah, I agree. Her and Alex had the weirdest relationship. People do say they had a sexual relationship, Carly. I've watched every angle of this, and people do say that when they were younger, I believe that they might have got caught fooling around with each other. And after that, Alex had a fixation on her. So there's some believed to be some incest in that family, you guys, between Alex and her. And not only that, they needed Alex to do the dirty work of they call him the angel of death for her. But once she found her soulmate that she calls for many years, Chad Daybell, she didn't want him around anymore. She didn't want to have to put up with Alex and that attention that he needed. And neither did Chad, frankly. Yeah, flowers in the attic. Yeah. Yeah, his wife said a lot about that. Just so you guys know, I believe they did have some incestuous relationship.
They died. In the place where they died, were you there?
What place was that?
Did you watch?
What place was that? Do you have any idea?
I'm asking.
Well, I'm the
Doesn't
only
really
one that
matter.
knows. Do you know? You're pretending like you know.
It doesn't matter. I'm not pretending I know. I'm asking you a question. Did you watch your children die?
That's a really sad question.
It's a terrible question, and it's one I hate to have to ask. But I mean, we've been talking about all of
I
these.
was not there.
Wow. So, Keith, I know you've done some really crazy, wild interviews, but what was it like being in that room? And as the interview is unfolding, what are you thinking's going on?
As she was being led from her cell to the room, little classroom that they gave us to do the interview, she winked at the camera, and that should have given us a clue what she was going to be like. But I'd wanted to talk to her for a while, in spite of.
And I don't know if we got a clip of it, but she definitely is combative at Keith Morrison. Every time he says anything, she challenges him, and she does do a lot of flirting with him. So we'll hear that at some point. I wish I could play the whole episode and just cut out all the crap of it.
The fact that, do you really want to talk to somebody who killed her children?
No.
But she's a curious character, and I just didn't know what was driving her. And I had a whole bunch of stuff prepared I wanted to ask her about. But again, how do you prepare for chaos? She came in and she had her own agenda. She wanted to be the aggressor. She has decided to be her own attorney in this trial coming up for the murder of her husband. And she is, so she's presented, she's been in court several times. She's made representations, and I think she was practicing on me, the kinds of questions that would be asked. Every time I'd ask her a question, she'd come back at me with, "How do you know that, Keith?" That sort of thing.
She talked about so many outlandish things, from religious visions to her own theory about what happened to her kids. I mean, did you get a sense that she really believes those things, or is this all an act?
So again, you guys didn't miss much. I can't show you what she said about that, but her delusion really was that Tylee, she said that when they moved the last time to Rexburg, Idaho, that Tylee was in such pain when she drove. She had pancreatitis, which I've had before, you guys. I've had pancreatitis, and I had my gallbladder removed. I wouldn't want to be put down because of that. So for that, she talks about, and I can only tell you what she talks about. She talks about them being out where she went in the redwoods, and they had such a beautiful day. But then she stops talking when they talk about her life being gone. And if you remember her life being gone, what they did to that little girl, you guys, they literally cut her apart, and then they burnt her. They tried to burn her body. They tried to do like their own cremation. And when the law enforcement found her, and the people that do that, the forensic people, they carried her out in buckets. You guys, they carried Tylee, her little girl that she loved so much. It was just like fat melted in buckets. And that's what they made left of her. And she justifies that as putting Tylee out of her misery, and that, yeah, she did. She drove from herself all by herself and said that she was having these bad pains. And here's the thing is she was getting darker and darker, according to Chad, because she didn't like Chad. And then JJ crawled up the walls in his red Spider-Man pajamas. Alex Cox took him out, put him over his shoulder, and we have David Warwick in there and Melanie Gibb just for a few minutes. They say they never saw him again after the night that he was crawling on walls. So again, she just goes around it though. She doesn't really answer it. She's absolutely evil behind those eyes and disgusting. I can't imagine what those kids went through.
I think that she probably believes in the philosophies behind this Chad fellow's ideas about religion. What happened to her kids? Maybe she's made herself believe it, but she wanted to fill that entire 90 minutes we had with a long, shaggy dog tale about how her daughter killed her son and then killed herself. The authorities, the police who investigated this, know for a fact this is not possibly true. For one thing, they died 2 weeks apart.
And you guys, I think they didn't give her much airtime because of the tales she was telling. She told that same tale to Colby, and that's not true because she was already gone before JJ was. They took her life after they visited the Redwoods or whatever the name of that place was. And I absolutely believe Melanie Gibb should have gotten arrested. She knew what was going on. She knew they were going to kill Tammy. She knew that they were putting the children on a dark list. I think Melanie Gibbs should absolutely be in jail. So they didn't want her telling her story like she did to Colby, that Tylee took Colby's life and then took her own life, but she wanted to be cremated. So the reason she was all burnt and in buckets like that is because of that. That would never have happened, you guys. Yeah, by 2 weeks, they knew she was already gone because she was the biggest threat to them. And then after that, they took JJ's life because he was in the way of their relationship. So I tried to get her off that narrative and onto some of the issues some of the things that they knew happened, and she wasn't going there. So it was a very interesting little tennis match we had.
Wow. It's rare that we see you even a little flustered, Keith, and you are the master of this. So I cannot wait to see this
Flustered is
interview.
exactly what it was.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Keith. And you can catch a lot more of Keith's exclusive Jailhouse interview with Lori Vallow tonight on Dateline, 9 p.m.
All right. And again, we did watch that. If you guys don't get a chance to, you guys don't have to worry about it because I'm showing you most of the parts that are there. There's not much. They didn't like her narrative, and so they would just pan out and let Keith Morrison talk over it. Thank you, Lori Burton. Stay here for the next episode. We're going to do Madeline Soto, Jennifer Soto, and her letting Stefan sleep with their daughter, even though they weren't having sex themselves. They were just kissing, apparently. So that's the new tale that she's telling. All right, here's the next one, guys. And I'm just making sure you guys are getting the idea what it's about and the clips.
That's a really sad question.
You've made the decision to meet me for an on-camera interview because...
You've heard a lot of stuff, Keith. What I tell you will be the truth.
Yeah. Weirdo.
Oh, tonight, Dateline delivers a blockbuster 2-hour episode featuring the first ever TV interview with convicted killer Lori Vallow-Daybell, known as Mommy Doomsday. She is serving life without parole for, among other crimes, the murders of her 2 children in Idaho.
And joining us
now, I got to tell
this
you,
morning is Dateline's Keith Morrison, who sat.
All right. So, yeah, he did a lot of interviews, but it's a different perspective. I think she's stuck in that delusion, you guys. There are people that saying she's stuck in the delusion because she cannot accept the reality of what she actually did and what actually happened to her children. So she's stuck in this delusion. So I don't know if she is or she's pretending to be, but that's what's keeping her going and keeping everything's funny to her. Everything's a joke. Everything's flirty. Yeah, mommy dearest. But Colby said she wasn't like that when he was a child. She was overbearing and jealous, but not like that.
Sat down with Lori for that exclusive Jailhouse interview. Keith, thanks for being here. Good morning to you.
It's much, much calmer here than it was in that situation.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, so you've been
Very.
covering this story for
Yes.
years. Lori,
5 years now, yeah.
Lori had never sat down, as we understand, for an interview with the media. So why now?
Well, it turns out that she'd wanted to talk to me for some time. I didn't know this, but one of our crack producers managed to arrange it, and the jail was agreeable. They even give us a classroom to do the interview in, and 90 minutes for an interview. And I thought, wow, this is great. So I had a whole bunch of stuff prepared.
Wow.
90 minutes, folks, and she got maybe 9 to 10 minutes of airtime. That's it. Yeah, you guys do me a favor, hit that like button, demon possessed. But they do call that something. There is some kind of name for it when you're stuck in a delusion because you cannot face reality. And I don't know if that's what it is. It does look like that, but I think she's just using some kind of food coloring or something, some weird shit.
But she had different ideas. She had her own agenda.
Yeah, she was very, very strong. She had a lot to say, it looked like.
She did.
So for those who might not be as familiar with this case as you are, what is it about this case that has kept you captivated for all these years?
Well, the question of whether or not they actually believe these bizarre religious theories that they were, a whole group of them were operating under apparently the guidance of her new husband, Chad Daybell. But Lori was probably the most powerful personality in this group.
I love him.
And certainly I discovered that the other day. But I wanted to ask her a whole series of questions about what they did and why they did it and what they, she had told me she wanted to tell the truth. So I asked her about things I knew to be true to see how she would describe why or what. And she had other ideas. She had a whole shaggy dog tale she intended to fill the entire 90 minutes with, leading up to something I know didn't happen.
Right.
Something we all know didn't happen. But she was determined that we should believe that as opposed to what actually happened.
She really manipulates, right?
Yes, very much so. And then we'll try to persuade you that she and Chad will be free. We'll be out of prison soon. We'll be.
Did you have any expectations going into it, and then were those expectations met afterwards?
Well, they certainly weren't met. No, I walked out of there totally exhausted.
Yeah.
I want to slit my wrists after a thing like that.
Oh, man.
It was quite something. I mean, I've done thousands and thousands of interviews over.
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Marissa, MDG, for becoming a member. I showed you guys a little clip. A lot of this went back to the old school, and they showed Lori Vallow being in her pageants. They showed her being on what show was she on? Jeopardy or no, Wheel of Fortune. She was on Wheel of Fortune. So a lot of the episode would just cut from her back to what happened. They just retold the story and then threw clips in there. Did she get her eyebrows done? No, I think she's just using whatever. What vape do you use? I'm trying to quit cigs. Yeah, vapes. I don't know if they're any better, but Geek Bar is what I use. I love Keith too. Poor Keith, he aged in this. It's like it hurt him to do this interview.
For many, many years, I've never had an experience quite like that.
Really? Yeah. So what was it, do you think, that set her apart? Because you have, you've interviewed so many people accused of a lot of different crimes.
Sure.
So you kind of know how this mind works, but her mind was completely different.
Yes, it was. I don't know what to say beyond that.
Was there one thing that surprised you the most about anything that she said or did?
That she was as flirtatious as she was. Yeah.
She was flirting with you?
But she was flirting. She was angry. She was accusing. She was practicing.
Okay, I'll leave that on for a second while I say that. That's perfect. Witness advocate, thank you so much. Yes, 2023 psychiatric diagnosis revealed that, yes, I couldn't remember that word. Vallow suffers from a delusional disorder mixed with religiosity and continuous and unspecified personality disorder with narcissistic, right? I don't know, tendencies or whatever, but yes, that's what they did say. And I think she is really still stuck in that, you guys. They say that happens. Thank you, Ashley, so much for the $9.99 super sticker. I appreciate you. You guys, Chad wants nothing to do with her as far as I'm concerned. From what I hear, when I was watching the trials and things, he wants nothing to do with her. He acted like she was the one that was driving the bus there, and he never wanted to talk to her. He severed the cases. So it's really weird. She does say that he comes to her cell every single night and visits her, and they hang out. She also says Tammy comes and hangs out with her, and so do her children. And they're waiting for her to just walk out of prison so they can all be together again. You say her dad is nuts, T. Adams. He did time in a federal prison for tax evasion. I wouldn't doubt it. Carly, you got peachy juice, peachy. This one's called Sour Effing Fab. But I also have a Geek Bar that's really good called Sour Watermelon Drop. And then I have another one that's called Sour Blue Dust. So I like to have my different flavors. I also have a green one, like apple ice or something like that. Sour apple ice. So yeah, I can't just have one flavor, y'all. I need a bunch of different flavors. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's keep going. We got to get to this so we can get to the next episode.
Just seeing her kind of lawyerly question about a question, answer a question with a question, but an aggressive question. She was a combative woman.
So what conclusion do you form after? I mean, there's just kind of this whole gamut of behaviors there.
She came to play, and she didn't come to tell us the truth. But she had wanted to do this, and she said we should do this again.
And you were like, no, thank you. Would you do it again?
I had thought no, thank you at that moment, but yes, I would.
You would,
just,
of course, you would.
Because it's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
Got to get through to that woman somehow.
And you've talked to a lot of people regarding this case, including Lori's oldest son, Colby.
Yes.
Yep.
What does he tell you?
Colby is trying to put together a good life. He's a responsible young father of 3 children.
3 children.
And he's married, and he is as grounded as she is flighty. He's a good person, and he wanted to finally get an answer to, and so he called her up in prison. He recorded the interview, and he tried to get her to say what really happened. And she told him a bald-faced lie, which essentially accused her daughter and his sister of killing the youngest son and then killing herself. And that didn't happen. And he is furious at her for blaming his sister for all of this. So he's a very unhappy man about that. I don't think that they'll have a relationship now anymore.
I wonder what she'll think of, she's going to watch the special, right? I wonder what she's going to think of it all. What do you think?
She will think that we have treated her unfairly. She will think that we should have allowed her to tell the story she wanted to tell. She will think that we are bozos, and I'm sure she'll.
And she'll be calling you.
Yeah, she'll discuss it with Chad, who apparently visits her in her prison cell every night, along with, the children she killed and Jesus and various other characters.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to watch this. I'm fascinated. I'm so thrilled that you are here. So let's tell you that Dateline's all new 2-hour episode, Lori Vallow-Daybell, the Jailhouse interview. It will air tonight at 9:00 here on NBC4. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
It's a thrill. It's a thrill to have you.
Welcome back. Welcome home.
It is kind of home.
It is home.
Yeah.
So you want to look at a camera and say,
go ahead. Can you give us a?
I'm Keith Morrison, and you're watching Today in LA. Today in LA.
All right. Yeah, he did a lot of interviews, guys. Let's keep on this. What do we got now? So this was a 2-minute one, and okay. This is another Idaho 6. They did so many of them, guys. I'm trying to get through them so I can show you. I don't want to go to the big one. Okay, so here it is. Reaction. Each one shows a little bit of a different clip.
Lori is such a narcissist. She has no integrity, no moral compass. She's a user.
And this is part of it because they have Grandpa. What's his? I can't think of his name right now, but it's he's a big player in it. They have him in there as well, so he's reacting to the episode.
People. She still is.
In a nationally televised interview from inside an Arizona jail, where Lori Vallow-Daybell awaits yet another murder trial for the death of her 4th husband, Charles, the convicted murderer was grilled about her part in the deaths of her children, Tylee and JJ, and her husband's first wife, among other things. I have to ask you, are you and Kay going to watch the interview?
The simple answer will be yes.
Okay, Larry N.K. Woodcock. Yes, that was the next trial that she is up for. The one that she's representing herself was for taking her husband's life. And that story they talked about was ludicrous. Yeah, Larry Woodcock, Kay Woodcock's brother, Charles Vallow. He used to be a professional baseball player, you guys. And they told that whole story of him hitting Alex in the back of the head with a bat, and he was like patting his head. They said, had he really done that, that would have knocked his head almost clear off. So somehow it got past the police. They let her kind of smile her way out of it, and she was never charged. Nobody was, because her brother, in fact, I believe they took his life as well. I think they gave him some kind of, they found some kind of pill or some kind of poison to make it look like what they did with Tammy Daybell, like it was natural causes. And in fact, with Tammy Daybell, you guys, you know that they tried to take her life the week or 2 weeks before. They had Alex go out there and try to shoot her. He missed, and then they went back and did it again, and freaking Chad Dumbbell had his son find his wife. How pathetic is that, you guys? And they did it because they say Jesus doesn't let them get divorces, but it's better if you take their life because you're saving them, apparently.
I'm sure we will.
But J.J. Vallow's outspoken grandfather, Larry Woodcock, made it clear he wasn't expecting to hear anything different from the woman who he believes cannot tell the truth.
I love my daughter. I love JJ. No, you didn't. You might have liked him for a long time, for a while. But in 2017, that all ended. 2017. And she didn't have the integrity or the moral compass to even pick up the phone and call Kay and I and say, look, y'all come get JJ. Would y'all take Tylee too? In a heartbeat.
Nate Eaton from East Idaho News has been the media face of these two murder trials and was the one who flew to Hawaii and confronted Lori in a parking lot before she was ever arrested and asked where the children were. She didn't say a thing. That was then. This is now.
She has a lot to say in this interview, but whether we get any real answers, I don't think we will. I think it's going to be a lot of her talking and with her own agenda.
I asked Nate why he thought people are still fixated on Chad and Lori, a couple already convicted of multiple murders.
Look at O.J. Simpson. People are still fascinated by that trial. Casey Anthony, those ones are decades old and they still find an interest in it. This may be something, Don, in 30 years that you and I sit down and talk about.
Well, there's so many loose ends to this, right? There's so many people like Melanie Gibb and like her, like Lori's niece that was going to take Brandon Boudreaux's life. That's still just out there. They knew what was going on. They were involved in that hyper religiosity. I don't know if they believed it or they just wanted to be part of something. Yes, my heart goes out to Larry the most. I swear that poor man has just gone through it. But yeah, they since you don't think Larry and Alex took Joe Ryan's. I do think that, and they do think that, but they can't go back on it. They can't go back. I think it was, I do believe that. I absolutely do. Beck says Lori's last words to us were, "That's good," after Nate said people were praying for your kids. Absolutely, she did. And the way she justified it was that that her own daughter took her son's life. Oh yeah, that I've covered this case. If you guys go back to my playlist, take a look at Lori Vallow playlist. I've covered 3 or 4 episodes on this.
About again.
Larry and Kay Woodcock have heard and seen enough from Lori Vallow-Daybell.
Lori, get ready to spend the rest of your life in prison. I doubt seriously if there will ever be an interview. And if the good Lord's willing, I hope you don't, and I hope nobody living on earth ever gets to see your sorry again. You're incompetent, you're immoral, and you're disgusting.
Reporting from outside the Ada County Courthouse in Boise, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson, Idaho News 6.
I love it, guys. I absolutely love it. I got another 2-minute clip I want to just show you quickly, and then I'm going to show you a reaction from Colby Ryan, because I want you guys to go over. If you don't already have the channel, I want you to go to the channel. Now, remember, this is Doomsday Mom is what they call her. And then, guys, I have 200 people here in chat. I would love if you guys can roll over to my next episode at 4:15. We are going to cover why Jen Soto handed her daughter to Stephen Stearns after not having sex with him herself. She says they made out or they kissed a little bit, and that's all they did. So yeah, I have at 4:15. I'm having another episode. We're gonna roll right from this to the next episode, you guys. All right, and we're going to win a T-shirt. All right, so I want you guys to let's keep going. I'll show you Colby after this, and then we'll roll into the next episode here. So stay in, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. I just want you to see this behind the scene thing real quick, and then Colby.
A sign of things to come.
Are you keeping track?
I'm keeping track. She is Lori Vallow.
That's it right
once
there.
labeled the most hated mother in America, convicted of murdering her own 2 children, 16-year-old Tylee and 7-year-old JJ.
Hey, Chad and Lori, where are your kids?
She was caught with her new husband and spiritual guru, Chad Daybell, in 2020. And months later, investigators found the children's bodies in Chad's backyard pet cemetery. Now, those investigators are speaking out for the first time.
That was a very emotional moment.
Did a number on you.
Yeah, those are memories that, don't go away.
Also speaking out, Lori Vallow.
And you guys knew I had to show Colby with the man bun. That one's for you, Carly. So don't forget to hit the like, Carly. I'm doing this for you. And yes, a guilty of crime doubleheader. I woke up this morning, you guys, with a sore throat, and you can kind of hear my boss was sick. My wife was sick yesterday. So I just had to go back to sleep. And then I went back to sleep for a while, got myself a Red Bull, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready because next, what we're reacting to on Plunder, number 1, it just came out. Number 2, it's really long, and I could only do that on the weekend. All right. Why does she wear a 3X prison outfit? I don't know if that's just what they give her. This is not like Orange is the New Black, where you get these fitted things and you look all cute and you braid each other's hair. I don't think it's like that at all. And no, their cult was only a few people, Sunshine. There was literally only a few people that followed and were attracted to Chad Dumbbell, by the way. Chad was trying to move in on some of the other ladies. And no, that's a fake man bun. It's a tiny little fake man bun. All right. Red Bull, baby. It gets you wings. Yes, I got my Red Bull. So you guys know when you're donating to my channel, these cost about $4 each. So every $4 it goes, instead of buy me a coffee, it's buy me a Red Bull. All right. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's finish this up, and then we're going to roll over into the next episode when we're done here. That never happens, by the way. So I'm excited about
His only surviving son, Colby.
I felt really guilty for even being the only one that didn't get killed, I guess, for a long time.
Now, charged with murdering her 4th husband, Lori Vallow is representing herself.
I'm in trial coming up, as you know. Do you know that, Keith?
She'll remain in prison for life, no matter what happens in her upcoming trial. Chad Daybell is on death row.
Good.
But for Lori, it's as if the evidence and her convictions don't exist at all. You did not kill a soul.
Absolutely
You didn't
not.
participate in killing a soul.
No.
You didn't conspire to kill a soul.
Correct.
You didn't do any of those things you've been convicted of doing.
Correct.
Lori Vallow.
That's what she did most of the time, by the way. She just laughed, you guys. I got a bunch of different clips of what she had going on. And literally, I can tell you, let me show you this real quick. That's what she did the whole time. She just kind of, let's see if I can get it. Oh, no, go this way. And she does have a weird face. She does. I don't know why her face looks all sideways, like she got something, but I didn't put volume because I don't want my channel to get pulled down, but I wanted you to see her expressions, and Keith Morrison's trying to be so professional, and he can't. You think survivor's guilt's manifesting? That dork knob? Are you? Oh, you're talking about Ryan was cremated. That's why they can't look back on him. And you guys, that's what I'm telling you about Madeline Soto. Madeline Soto should have never been cremated, you guys. They should have had the option to go back to her body and look at things that they missed. They can no longer do that. Now, they did exhume the body of Tammy Daybell, thank God, and they found out that something else that wasn't natural causes. I can't remember exactly what it was. You hope the fake boobs stay intact. Maybe, yeah, they are. Of course they are. It's been 5 years. There's no more filler, guys. No more filler. Oh, yeah, I think so, too. I think so, too. It was all about money. Choo choo. We're almost done with this one. I want to show you Colby a little bit, but I just wanted you to see that she didn't really answer any questions. She laughed, she deflected, she flirted, she was combative, and Keith Morrison tried to get answers out of her, and that's what he was getting. So even though you can't hear what she's saying, it's not much. It's not much, you guys. You really, truly just didn't miss anything. Other than the things I'm showing you. It's what it was.
As unrepentant as ever, as she prepares to face justice again.
Yes.
Keith Morrison, NBC News, Los Angeles.
A lot of folks were watching that last night.
No doubt. Keith Morrison has done all sorts of incredible interviews. He said this was one of the most unique he has ever done. It tells you about Lori Vallow and what her possible mindset appears to be.
That says a lot right there.
Yeah, clearly.
All right.
The measles.
All right, so we got one more clip until we roll into the next one. I want you to, if you don't know Colby, if you don't watch his channel, we're going to watch a little bit of it and his reaction to this and the whole thing that's going down, and then we'll roll out to the next video.
It's 90 minutes.
Go subscribe to him.
Astonished, frankly.
Wow.
Usually, as you know, if you go to interview somebody in a prison or
Thank
jail,
you, Rosie. I appreciate you.
Lucky. For an hour, if you got to do a whole kind of camera setup and so on. But no, 90 minutes. So
90 minutes.
I thought that would be plenty of time to get what we needed from
Thank you, Gringo.
anybody. But it turned out it wasn't enough to get what we needed from Lori Vallow. I could have gone on with her for a lot longer.
Right. And
Would you want
she
to?
had mentioned to me at one point she wanted to talk to you before she was sentenced here in Idaho.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't
There you
let
go.
cameras into
There
that.
it is.
Oh, that's right. Yes, there was that discussion. Yeah.
Right. So she obviously has been thinking about chatting with you for some time, for years now.
Wow. I didn't know
So
that.
what I mean, the broad question is what
You guys should all show Colby J. Ryan some love on his channel. I watch his channel quite a bit. I love the reactions. Now I have this video right here with Keith Morrison and Nate Eaton. I watched it yesterday, but I wanted you to see Colby's reaction. He also was in the documentary, but not for long.
was it like being
So let's just break this down real quick. For me personally, my first thought is why Keith Morrison? Why Dateline? Because Dateline, from what I understand, covers specifically case stuff. So like basically crimes. From what I understand, I don't have a history on Dateline. I'm just giving you from my understanding, from what I've watched. They cover like crime and cases and things of that nature, and they kind of
Right. So quickly, guys, that's Colby J. Ryan. That is the only surviving child of Lori Vallow. That's Lori Vallow's son right there.
investigative report and do things like that. So for her to want to do Dateline and be interviewed by Keith specifically, I wonder what the thought process was behind that. Because she wanted this moment specifically with Keith.
Yep.
That's very interesting to me.
being there face to face with her and trying to interview her?
Poor Keith.
Well, she came in, she winked at our cameras on the way in. She was upbeat. She was charismatic. She was friendly. She was practically flirtatious.
Okay, so Jezebel, you want it? You got it. That's it right there. That's full Jezebel incarnate. Why are you winking? Why are you flirting?
Oh, wait,
who are you trying to impress? And you have zero context why you're here, right? Do you understand why they're interested in talking to you? What is going on in your mind when you walk in there with this attitude and you're winking at people and the whole interview she's smiling and she's in a good mood, and this is where I say
Now this pisses Colby off to no end, because last time he spoke with his mom, she blamed it on his sister Tylee, and you can see they have different dads, but you can see the likeness of them with Lori Vallow. Now I wanted you guys to know I dropped the link in chat. This is going to be my next one. I'm going to roll over in 10 minutes to that one, but I wanted you to see what it is about Colby and how he feels. That's her son. And she wants to be a grandma, by the way. He has 3 children, and she says, I want to get to know your kids. And he's like, I am not taking my kids anywhere near that crazy lady. Jay, I need to get with you about the terrible case. I read your email, and absolutely, Sharon, I'd love to cover those cases. And yes, Bogart, he is a very handsome guy. That's what Carly thinks too, minus the little thing he had on his head.
Understand the delusional part, right? Because how in the world are you not feeling the gravity of the situation? They're not there to be your friends. Keith is not your friend. She even said that. She's like, I thought we were going to be friends, Keith. No, you're not going to be friends. Keith is not there because he likes you.
Right? The story, yeah.
He's obviously interested in having a conversation with you. But for her attitude this is how she's been, guys, since the beginning. She walked into the courtroom the first time I ever saw her, and she was smiling at people and in a good mood and upbeat, and is exactly what he just described to a T.
Yes.
Like, he's happy with where she's at. And that's where I tried to dive deep, is understand her, but let's see what Keith thinks.
She was, there was an undercurrent of anger in what she was saying. She, I think, felt aggrieved about good many things. And she bounced all over the map in discussion of those topics. But she had her own agenda, and she knew exactly how long she had. She's no dummy. And I think she had decided ahead of time that she was going to tell this shaggy dog tale that would take up the time. I wouldn't be able to ask all my embarrassing questions. And she could lay out this, frankly, big lie about what happened to Tylee and JJ.
She never did either.
And that it would require such a big workout. She'd have to tell the whole kind of life story of her.
Okay, so let's break it down real quick with what he just said. You're exactly right.
That's him right there, guys.
Here's the thing. God bless you too, Jen. So here's the thing. She obviously calculated this years and years and years ago to be interviewed, and she walked in there and she wanted to spill her story. She didn't want to be interviewed. So in an interview, and the reason why I told her, hey, I'm going to interview you, meaning I have questions, and in an interview, you ask questions and someone answers. So let's just job interview. Very simple. The person interviewing you is going to ask the questions, and your job usually is to respond, maybe add in where you can. That's the reason why I did it, because I know it's all over the place. So I walked in there with boom, boom, boom. Here's my questions. I didn't even get to touch on mine. He said,
all right, yeah. So I want you guys to actually, I really want you to follow his channel. Sometimes he cries, sometimes he's happy, he shows his family. I love watching his journey. Now we're gonna get into the next video. You guys go over. I put a link. I just wanted you guys to see who, what, when, where, who was in the video, what's it about. And really, if you don't want to watch the Dateline, you don't have to. You just watch the video, and I showed you almost every clip in that video of Lori Vallow currently that I can. So like, subscribe, share with your community. I want everyone that can't find the episode, which for me, it was really freaking hard to find it. So please do that. I'm going to go now, and I shared the link for the next one. We're doing Jennifer Soto. We still kissed. Nothing major happened. My reaction to it, and this just came out. It's not something you've heard before. It's also not redacted, so we know that they're talking about Jen Soto in this. Okay, so go back to my channel, and it's right there, YouTube Live. You guys can grab the link. Go do that. You've got 5 minutes to come back to my channel. Go get whatever you need. Grab your popcorn. It's going to be a long one, guys. All right. I love you guys. And I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. Go, go, go. Love you. See you soon.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?